if you think of it like that, it'd be like, why would I invest in training for this person? Why would I invest in anything for this person? If you go and train the person to do X job, they're going to do it better for you and you're going to monetize off the back of that. That person owes you nothing after they leave. And if they want to leave, well and good. But invest in them while they're there.
Hey, I'm Jay Woodard. I am a creative director, photographer and videographer of the Ed32 agency based in the south of Ireland in Cork.
Hi, I'm Judie Russell. I'm a video coach and founder of the Vid Academy.
Hi, I'm Jen Bryan and I'm the co-founder and chief marketing officer of a digital marketing agency called Velocity Growth.
Hi, I'm Sian Horn. I'm a business mentor and coach. I'm also the founder of the national network for women in business called The Club. And I also am the ambassador for Champion Green. Fabulous. Hello and welcome to this week's episode. Oh, this is quite exciting. I get to host, although I only found out 2 minutes ago. And that is apologies from me because my November has been completely crazy. Last week I came to you from the Maryborough Hotel. And this week, actually, after the pod, Jen, I'm going to do a little catch up on Instagram because I saw your setup before we started, which we'll go into a little bit later. So I took a picture of mine as well, which is quite different to yours. So we'll show it. So guys, let's get started. Jen, what was your highlight of your week?
Well, my highlight is actually kicking off this morning. I had to kind of pick up the slack on my Instagram just to meet my own kind of goals that I had for the end of the year. But it's always a slow start when you pick back up after a bit of time away from it. But one of the videos I did a few days ago is going viral to the point where Instagram has shut down my ability to even reply to people because there's too many coming in an hour. So this morning alone, my account has grown by more than 1,000 followers. My newsletter has grown by more than 100 people. I've had 2 subscribers in now in the newsletter, which I wasn't expecting because I only launched that yesterday. The subscriber count is going up on Instagram and I've closed about 3.5 grand in brand deals for December. So it's starting to monetize. I haven't made a penny from Instagram before now, by the way. So this is interesting.
Amazing. Well done.
Yeah,
well done.
So
what video was it? What video was gone?
The production crate one, the one where I sent the link to the free assets. But actually, I think you were one of the first to comment, and so you have the old variation of the message, but I updated that message. So I'll actually do it in the Teach Me Something New, but every time someone comments or messages me on Instagram, they're now getting this like automation that includes a request to join the newsletter. So the newsletter I'm starting to pull people out of Instagram and into the newsletter. Like yesterday I had about 200 subscribers before I jumped on. Now I've coming up on 400 subscribers. So like to the newsletter, which if I can keep that pace going, it'll be in the thousands next year, which is exciting.
Jen, I want to ask you one quick question because I've been blocked from replying to comments when this has happened myself. Did it state how long you're blocked for? Because I've been blocked twice.
An hour.
An hour, because I was blocked for 7 days.
No, I'm blocked for an hour. It's a maximum of 60 comments. You can send 60 comments an hour, but when it blocked me, I was averaging 60 comments for every 10 minutes when they were coming in. So it shut down the automation. So now some point later, I have to figure out who I manually need to go back to in a group of 4,500 comments so far. Yeah. So I don't know what to do.
Instagram basically thinks you're a spam bot, and that's why they're shutting it down, is it?
Yeah. It's too many comments in an hour, essentially, which is good to know for those automations, but it's just... a bit of a pain, but I'll go through this process I've put together to grow the newsletter in the Teach Me Something New.
Amazing. Nice. Jay, what was your highlight?
I got a good few edits done that I needed to get done, and I got a few client projects over the line that was just kind of dangling. They were just kind of there, and they're in the back of my mind, and now and then the client would tip in and go, "Oh, how's this looking?" And there was no rush on, there was no deadline. I think that's the problem with some projects that I work on is there's no deadlines. And I need a deadline. I love a hard deadline where like, yeah, I'm all in, let's go. We have to get it done. So I've kind of cleared my schedule somewhat going into December, which is nice. I have a few projects still in the works of about 5 or 6 shoots in December, which I'm happy with. So yeah, just kind of, again, as we said, tidying up was nice and just finishing off projects. So that was my highlight. Kind of went, the last thing, kind of sat back. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm okay.
Yeah, there's nothing like it, is there?
Mm.
And finally, Judie Russell, what was your highlight of the week?
Last night, I went out to MTU, which is one of our local universities, and I went and spoke to the Film and Animation Society, MTU Film and Animation Society, on Instagram, if you have a chance to follow them. But they're a really cool bunch, like, and they're from kind of all different courses, I think. So what was interesting is, like, I was like, it's the kind of thing of the cobbler with no shoes. Like, like they're a film society, but they don't have a video or to kind of promote themselves. And the same for me, like I can go and strategize other people's businesses, like, like it comes second nature. And then when I go to sit down to do my own, I'm like, oh God, what will I do? So I was like, right, let's make this really interactive as a workshop. And also, they're when you're in film studies, especially, it's very highbrow. It's all about, like, the red cameras and the Alexa, and you get kind of like very distracted by all of the gear, and then you think that you can't make stuff because you don't have the gear. So I was like, right, I always want to convert people, and I always want to simplify stuff as well. So I was like, right, phone. Okay, so I brought one light with me. I got their kind of about us description from their website. I loaded that into a teleprompter. I got one chair and put it in the middle of the room and got each person to say a sentence to camera sitting in the chair. Something I've learned recently, right, is that, people's height differences. It's very hard to kind of record the same without the chair being in a different angle and constantly changing the tripod up and down and stuff like that. It's very hard to get people standing to be at the same height. Their heads are either really down or else someone's really tall. But when people are seated, it's actually a lot easier to kind of get people to the same height. And I was trying to Google this morning. I was like, are people's torsos and heads more of the same height? But it was actually just the way your body kind of compresses into the chair. So we just set the tripod up on and used Filmic Pro so that we could film and log. Again, that's like without a lot of color attached. And then we took it all into the edit then afterwards, added the color. And I think that they were like really pleasantly surprised by the results of what you can actually achieve with the phone. So I just found that really cool. And like their questions, and they had ideas for me and stuff like that. And, they're a different bunch. I'm usually going into businesses and teaching marketers how to make videos, but these are people who are really into all of the equipment and the processes and stuff. So it was really fun and really cool, and yeah, really enjoyed it.
Amazing. Well, my highlight, I can't believe you two girls didn't even mention it, was the Female Founder of the Year Award. No, listen, it was my highlight. It's really hard work. I don't remember the last 4 weeks, to be honest. And it was amazing. And I got to show everybody that I am now a DJ, which was amazing. Had great crack. It was lovely to show people you can do whatever you fancy doing. So yeah, without a doubt, that was my highlight of the week. It was a tough night because the next morning, obviously, we went straight into Black Friday, which brings me on really, really nicely to what pissed me off this week. Because, guys, I don't know about you, I ended up actually, after talking about what I fancied buying last week, I actually ended up buying nothing because I was sick of the sight of it. So I don't know how you felt about Black Friday, but like it's too long now. It's not Black Friday anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's Black November. It's like it's a whole thing, isn't it? As bad as that sounds, sorry, but as bad as that sounds, it is like it's they start super early, and it's just then what happens is it's happened now. What I found was, and you said it last time on the podcast, well, Sian, I wait to Cyber Monday to see if they bring it down even more,
and they did.
I mean, yeah. So it's like, so why even do Black Friday if like we know there's going to be one more day with a cheaper 2 days after? It's yeah, I don't know. A lot of people I was talking to were like, yeah, I'm waiting till Cyber Monday because I know it'll be even cheaper again.
Yeah, I was so sick of it. I didn't buy anything, to be honest. And I was actually up in Dublin yesterday and talking to a lot of small business owners, and they have struggled this year with it. I know you all know I work for Champion Green, and we're trying to change that Black Friday.
You work for Champion Green? I didn't know that at all.
No, I always laugh. I also like the leader of Champion Green with my lovely Welsh/English accent. But cut me open. It says Cork, I swear to God. Yeah, they've struggled. And obviously with what happened in Dublin last week and a lot of businesses having to close Black Friday, They really struggled. So it's going to be really important now up to Christmas that we support local, support Irish, and hand our cash over to those small businesses because they really need our help this year more than any other time. Actually, people think during COVID we need it, but more than any other time because we've forgotten about them and we need to remember about them. Anyway, preach over. What pissed you off, Jen?
Well, I'm kind of still like rolling over my pissed offness from last week of Black Friday, but it's now over CPMs, CPCs, cost per acquisition is all starting to come back down. It's still a little bit Christmas chaos, but it is starting to all move in the right direction, which is good. But I'm still trying to get my house in order for next year. As I alluded to there in the highlight, I guess like there's a massive switch internally to like this media focus for next year. Like a lot of the groundwork was put in this year. Craig, my business partner in Washington, is like probably maybe 2 or 3 months behind me in terms of like the same process being rolled out, but he's grown to like he's doing LinkedIn first as opposed to social first, as in like the more kind of like Instagram, TikTok platforms. So I'm kind of a little bit behind on it, but he's tracking LinkedIn to newsletter and I'm tracking Instagram, TikTok to newsletter. I actually have a lovely consultation with Judie on Monday regarding rolling out on YouTube as well, which I'm looking forward to. But yeah, the media planning for next year, it's actually massive because you have to put in like 6 to 8 months of work up front, no questions asked in terms of time and money. And it's only now that I'm starting to see the monetization, but I know that we have another block to go for Craig's stuff. And then we're evaluating everyone's personal brand on the team. I don't think enough companies do that. Look at everyone on their team and say, oh, we actually have the potential for 10, 12, 15 channels here as opposed to just this one crappy company one that no one's going to listen to anyway. So yeah, there's going to be a pretty massive pivot in terms of how we do business, but it'll be pretty interesting. But yeah, it's also a pain in my ass at the moment. So
So just to simplify that for my listeners, because I know that actually one of the feedback I got last week is, oh my God, Jen is brilliant. What does she mean by that, Sian? What does she mean by that? So you're going to change your strategy and utilize the people and the power of the personal brand to move your business forward.
Correct, but with the view that there will be 6 to 8 months of work on each particular account before it can be monetized. And then it's monetized in 2 ways. One, into the agency. So for like, it roughly takes me about 10,000 new followers to get one decent agency client, which is a massive number to reach. So we actually have to go further down funnel, smaller one-off purchases. Like we're monetizing in multiple different ways. So it won't just be service-based business. It'll be a blend of a media and product-based business as well. So it's switching things up slightly.
So you're looking at conversion basically.
Yes. And where in the funnel. So like, for example, Craig only needs to grow a fraction of what I need to grow on Instagram to get an equivalent client in terms of performance. So we're like reviewing all of the different channels, effort in, time out, and correlating that to monetization down the line, but excluding the first 6 to 8 months because you just have to put the graft in.
And Jen, like, the growing of the personal brand thing, I think that a lot of companies are very scared of that. They don't want to invest into the person in case the person leaves and takes their personal brand with them. Like, what are your thoughts on that?
You're paying someone to work with you right now. If you invest in them, they're more likely to stay. It's the same as anything else, but like you should be investing in people. Like if you think of it like that, it'd be like, why would I invest in training for this person? Why would I invest in anything for this person? If you go and train the person to do X job, they're going to do it better for you and you're going to monetize off the back of that. That person owes you nothing after they leave. And if they want to leave, well and good. But invest in them while they're there. Even if you're investing that 6 to 8 months, you can take the equivalent learning to whoever fills their gap afterwards. So it makes I just think it's
Oh, I agree. I remember working in a corporate environment before, and someone mentioned like growing all the personal brands, and like the manager almost falling off the chair at this idea. I'm like, no, everything stays on the company pages. You know, we're not going off. It was almost like people were going rogue if you suggested that and stuff. So
yeah, the other thing is that like with corporate, a lot of people are like, oh, what if they say something? Let them fucking say it. It's not your business what anyone's saying on social. And why did you hire them if you don't trust them? So I don't know.
I've had a few, having looked after HR for quite a long time in my life, I've had a few calls about that actually, where people have got in trouble. And I just, it's not about what you say on social, it's how you link it to the business. So, you know, you keep that that steady, I think, because it can cause issue for the brand itself. Judie, I actually think that sounded really exciting. It didn't sound like a pissed off at all. I'm all over it. But anyway,
until you see the project plan, Sian, and then you'd feel a bit pissed off as well.
Oh, bless you. You've got all that to look forward to. Judie, what got you this week?
Do you know, like, I suppose I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, do I mention this? And I was like, because now that I know that people are actually listening, I'm like, oh, but the whole reason I wanted to start this was for frank, honest, open conversations. So I believe truly in sending unsolicited emails to people asking them to work with you, or like to, you know, reaching out, taking a leap of faith and saying, how about this as an idea? It's where most of my most exciting projects have come from. But what that comes with then is rejection. And, you know, so I'm going on a cruise. And again, another controversial topic is I rarely tell people that I'm going on a cruise because of how it's linked with unsustainability and stuff like that. And I think it sounds really selfish, but it's with my mom. She's in her 70s. She loves her cruise. So we're going for Christmas. And so I reached out to the cruise company and I was like, any chance of doing some kind of collaboration? Now, see, I'm not an influencer. I don't have the numbers to like be an influencer or anything like that, but I'm good at producing videos. So I was thinking, you know, I could create a series videos for them. You know, we could kind of work together because I'm going to be bored on the cruise most days. So I'm like, I might as well use this time to create some content. I'm going to have all my gear with me. And so I put a bit of time into, sent a few emails and stuff like that. And then I got back we're not interested in a collaboration. Thanks for getting in touch. And I was like, and for the rest of the day, I was walking around and I was like making a cup of tea and I was like, why am I so down? I was like, oh, it's that. And then I was like, don't be down over that, kind of talking to myself and going, you don't have to let that get to you. And then I go, oh yeah, that's fine. But like, still, it's like, it's in you or something like that. And you don't know what's affecting you throughout the day. And then you just get and you're like, oh yeah, but like, I don't actually have to be upset about that. But like, it's retraining your brain to not let the rejection kind of get into the rest of your day. So that kind of pissed me off, I guess. Yeah.
Can I give you a random tip for that? Sorry.
Yeah.
We all jumped in at the same time. So I have a spreadsheet and I have two columns. One says yes and one says no. And I have a little green bar at the bottom on row 100. We'll say 101 because of the two things at the top being yes and no. The goal is to get to 100 no's every 3 months. So actually, every time someone says no, you get to mark off your sheet because by the time you get to 100 no's, look at the yes column.
And what's your ratio of yes to no?
I'll actually check. It's not too bad. We close about maybe 45% of our proposals stateside, and then it's a little bit higher here.
Yeah, solid.
But the more no's you get, the more yeses you get over time. So if you look at it retrospectively, you'll see like month one, the ratio's like this, and then it starts like creeping up. But it's actually a really fun way to do it because it incentivizes you to get more no's because you know it'll get you more yeses as you scale. That makes sense.
We love a check. We love being able to go in and like put a green mark on it.
Because we found it like it's gamifying it a small bit. I mean, like even me and Craig for a while, really early in our business, what we used to do is like challenge each other to take the most sales calls, challenge each other to get the most no's, challenge each other to get like one improvement on the other person's, like all of these small things. But when you start like turning it into an internal game, and I know we have a team so slightly different, but maybe it's something we even have like a sheet somewhere in the pod where it's like, guys, I got 5 no's this week. Oh, fuck you. You got 10 no's, you know, something like that. But the more no's you get, the more yeses you'll get over time.
Love it. Sian, what were you going to say there? Sorry.
Well, I was just going to say two things. So we were so ingrained in celebrating our yeses and our awards and all that. But actually, if you don't celebrate your no's, because we learn from our no's, we don't learn from the yeses because we just do what we said we were going to do. The other thing is that no means that you're going to have a holiday. So take it. That's opened you up to relax for a couple of weeks.
True.
So I'm actually delighted for you.
Truth.
But I would go on though, and I would create something really special, and I would put it out anyway, for them to see how amazing you are.
Thank you.
What I was going to say there is, I always follow up the hard no's with a why email.
Nice.
So even with clients, if they say, unfortunately, we're not going to go ahead with this project with you this time, I'm like, why? Now, obviously, I word it very professionally because I need to know for my business, why did they not? Was it my price? Was it my approach? Was it my vision? So I always find that interesting. Obviously, with brands, they might not even get back to you, but it's always, hey, no problem. Thank you so much. I'm looking to grow my brand. Is there a certain criteria you need to meet that, or I need to meet to work with you kind of guys, or just to try and learn off the no, you know?
Yeah.
There's
Really good idea.
There's like an extra layer to that we found that a lot of companies wouldn't reply to us with that feedback. And what we did is we created a anonymous form, and we'd ship it afterwards and be like, hey, just to let you know, we're collecting anonymous feedback here for when proposals decline, because we'd love to learn and get better. If you could please fill out this form, it'll be completely anonymous. We won't know it's from you, except for the fact that we sent it to you today and you replied today conveniently. But yeah, in general, it like aggregates the responses. Then, you know, you can go to, how did you feel about our pricing? How did you feel about like our consultations? Was there some piece of information missing and things like that? And you can like aggregate it over time.
Brilliant.
But you're a believer, Jay, I think, if I've got this right, of creating sometimes for a business before they take you on to show them snippets.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of spec ads. I'm a massive fan of all that kind of stuff. Like it's something, if as a creative you want to do. And I love cruises. If I was going on a cruise, I would document the shit out of it. But yeah, I think it's just you as well. For you as a creator, it's nice to test your skills and just create that and go, look, I've gotten work from stuff where, pure example, I've been on beaches and just did drone videos of hotels and this kind of stuff. And I've just sent to the hotel after and they've signed on to do work with me because of it.
Brilliant.
It's a nice, it's not a, hey, let's work together. It's, hey, I made this. This is what I can do. Hit me up if you need me. Do you know that kind of idea more than a, hey, let's work together, please? No, don't get me wrong. I'm a fan believer as well. I have a VA, Anya, from Monday Method, who does all my cold outreach for my agency. And she's, you know, whatever that is, 30 emails a week or 40 emails a week. And just, hey, we're looking for this, 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 and this. And as Jen said, 95% of them are no. But we'll keep you in mind for the next project. Or we'll put you on our suppliers list. And down the line, that's going to turn into a yes. If you keep kind of, or whatever, the 5 sales points you're tipping, whatever it is. Shan knows more about that, but yeah, that kind of stuff. So yeah,
There's nothing more humbling than a cold email campaign.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing at all. But I was actually talking about that on Instagram this morning. No one likes selling. No one likes it. You have to do it. It's part of your role, but no one enjoys it. But I changed my mindset on that. I'm just telling you about shit I love, and that's it. Like, so no, it's good. Jay, did anything get to you this week?
It did, and it's still getting to me. I don't know how much I can actually talk about it, to be honest, but I've worked on a project recently, and there's a third voice that shouldn't be there happening. So email conversations between the project manager, this person who is relevant to the project, but not massively. And for some reason, they're the loudest voice in the room. And the project manager is kind of going, I don't care, but it's still being said out loud. And now what happened last night was I was kind of refuting the matter. I can't delve into details, I'm sorry, but you get the idea. I was refuting the matter and reviewing what they were saying. And then the group emails suddenly turned into a 1v1 email, me versus them. And it's back and forth. I'm like, look, this has happened. This has all been signed off and approved. I'm done with this matter. It just, and what happened was I made a very silly mistake of looking at my emails before I went to bed last night. And that email was sitting there. I'm like, well, I have to fucking read it now. So I read it and I was like, and I just kicked off in my head. You know how you have these fights in your head, these battles? Well, if I say this, they'll say that. And like, but then I woke up this morning with a clearer head and just emailed them off and said, look, be gone with you.
So I've got to be honest though, I do think I don't do my business through email an awful lot because it doesn't work. It's never worked for me. And one of the reasons it doesn't work for me is because I can't hear tone. And so I actually have used video and FaceTime for years, well before COVID. I remember I'd be ringing clients. They'd be like, oh my God, my hair isn't done. And I'd be like, I don't care. I just want to see your face. Do you know what I mean? I need to see people's face. So I do think sometimes I would take those conversations offline and just get it done with a phone call or a quick Zoom, because email can be super tedious, and that sounds super tedious to me.
To be honest, in my opinion of what I've learned working with these crowds, is they want to have the last say, and that they always feel is right. They're right, and no matter what you say, they'll have a rebuttal. So in person, I'll get angry, I get frustrated, and that's where I'll start swearing, or I'll start like in an email. I can keep it somewhat cordial, because if I see you in person, I'll just go, "You're a fucking idiot. Shut up. Go away from me." Where I don't want to, do you know what I mean? I don't want to do that because I'm trying to be professional. Where it's an email, I'm like, look, it is what it is, black and white.
Yeah.
You know? And that's happened. That's not just this project. It's obviously happened before, where I'm not just picking on this one scenario, but you know yourself.
Yeah.
And it's certainly happened to me. I find sometimes if I'm organising actually events for corporate, sometimes people have to justify their role. And I'm just like, you know me, I'm like, oh, don't even worry about it. I've done this 100 times before. It's going to be fine. You just turn up. But they need, they'll come back because they have a role and they get paid a wage, and they're not a freelance. They don't work for themselves. They haven't done it hundreds of times before. Sometimes
their insecurity is not a problem, Sian. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, absolutely.
I have a job. We have a job to do, so we can't be babysitting you and your insecurity of making sure your job is safe. That's on you, bro.
Yeah. Oh no, I did an event there the other week, and I'd say we wasted so much time. There's about 40 emails back and forth. There was no need for any of them. I just kept saying, let's jump on a Zoom, record the Zoom. Everything will be said in the Zoom. You can go back and you can read what we said. But this back and forth, I actually physically don't have the time for, because I'm a one-man band.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I can understand your frustration.
Me too.
Do you feel a bit more peaceful today now that you're on a call with us?
I did. I am, to be honest. I sent that email and I kind of went, because I was like, look, it's all been signed off. What are we talking about? Please, in a very professional way, please leave me alone. Rock and roll. I don't have time. I don't have time for this shit. Like, I don't. Like, I'd say if this was the project manager, 100%, I'm listening. I'm completely in on with what you're saying, but it's not. And if they're ignoring you, I should too.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what I do? Like in the planning, or like you probably do this as well, Jay, but in the first planning meeting, I always make them pick the key stakeholder, and that is the person that I'll deal with in the company. And then they can have all of their internal stuff, but that person has to come back to me. So like they deal with the different personalities and stuff, and I get the one person. The only problem is if that one person is the person who you're like, like, can we switch? Can we change?
Yeah. The beauty of that is, like, for you, it's as you said, there's a group, like with SMEs, there's usually 3 or 4 people max.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And that's kind of it. So there's different. So yes, 100% that happens in companies where, and it's beautiful. There's, as I said, there's a project manager, and it's straight to that. Sorry, the project manager probably led you to believe that it was a bigger organization, but there's one person you have contact, which is great. But yeah, no, with SMEs and different people like that, it's like 3 people.
Yeah.
Too many chefs.
Yeah.
Too many chefs, absolutely. So Jay, I'm gonna stay with you. Have you got anything to teach us this week?
I have, and I learned it like a day and a half. I did a video on it yesterday. I don't know if you saw it on Instagram. Audio.com, AUDIIO.com. So obviously, if I'm working on a client project and they're like, we love this song, we'd love something like this, and you're like, before you have to trawl through different websites, Epidemic Sound, all these different stuff, hours trying to find the same kind of vibe and stuff. Now what you do is literally you copy the paste from YouTube, copy the paste from TikTok or Spotify, any link they send you, and paste it into audio.com. And what that does is the AI matches songs that are creatively licensed for free, that match the kind of beats and the tones. So let's say in my video I said, if you like Hans Zimmer and they want a Hans Zimmer-esque song, you literally copy and paste a Hans Zimmer song that they like into this, and it gives you different options of that kind of different, not variations of the song, but different songs that sound very similar to it, which is amazing. Because as a video editor, I'm like, I've spent hours and hours looking for different types of music, different types of music. And it's just, this is a beauty. So audio.com, not affiliated yet, but audio.com with 2 I's.
Cool. And cost, Jay?
It's at the moment they're running a super cheap deal. It's 70% off. So it's like, I think it's like 25 quid or 30 quid for the year, or something, like something silly like.
Okay.
So it's
Brilliant.
definitely worth checking out.
Absolutely. Amazing. Jude, any
Skip me, I forgot about this, but I couldn't think of it while Jay was talking because I really wanted to take down what he was saying. I'll think of something once.
Well, I know, Jen, because we were chatting about earlier, I'd love to even concentrate on this. So give us your teach me.
Yeah, so my teach me does come with a caveat that this won't work unless you've put in the effort up front to kind of build an audience. So the concept here is simple, right? So when you build an audience on Instagram or TikTok in particular, so the short form top of funnel audiences are actually very poor converters, especially if you're in the service business, and especially if you have anything above, let's say, $300 or $400 euros. Now, once you realize that, which was a little bit shit when I was like, great, okay, this isn't converting the way I thought it would into the agency, is that the media itself becomes the first thing that you think of to actually monetize. So I'm actually going out here, I'm creating content. I was creating really high value content on the hopes that it would bring people through to the agency. It's not converting to the rate I would expect. Okay, well, the content is still sitting there. Can I monetize that? Or can I monetize assets around that content to alleviate the pressure from continuing to create content? And also every person that you bring from Instagram into another platform that is deeper content. So we'll say like a podcast like this, longer form content on YouTube, a newsletter where they have to spend more than 10 seconds consuming you typically have a much higher conversion rate into something like an agency service. So what I have done is on last week's episode, I think it was where I chatted about ManyChat, where I have an automation set up. Now when I'm creating the high value content, I'm typically telling people to comment for more value. So essentially, for example, this morning I did a video on silence detection in videos and how to do that in Veed. And then I said, if you'd like the full step-by-step guide, comment Veed, and a message goes directly to that person. But now at the end of that message, it says, okay, well, here's your freebie. And also if you'd like an additional weekly freebie into your inbox, here's where to sign up for my newsletter. But now I've also been strategic on where I've created the newsletter. So I'm using a tool called Substack. And the reason I'm using that is because it's free, first of all, for me, the user. I can go in and create my newsletters. It will send out to my newsletter people. But at the bottom of those emails, every single one of them has this little button saying, I would like to pledge a subscription to this user should they start creating subscription only newsletters as well as the free newsletters. So I can immediately get a sense of if I am to turn on the subscription, how much I'm actually going to make. So when people pledge, the money is actually sitting there. As soon as I turn on the subscription, I'm going to start getting paid that as well. So now I'm able to monetize fully through automations by creating my newsletter every week, as well as like I've turned on Instagram subscriptions, all that, but that's very small money in comparison. So now I'll have the opportunity to monetize the content through the newsletter and the subscriptions on Instagram, but also I'm getting people into a longer form piece of content to increase the likelihood of agency conversions. That was long-winded. Questions?
Questions. How long have you been using Substack for and how are you finding it?
3 days, and it's going very well.
The subscription model that you have, obviously, I know a lot of people are looking at this at the moment on Instagram. You must have 10,000 followers, just to remind people, and then you can set up that subscription service. What is your offering and how has that worked for you?
So people can subscribe at $4.99 a month. I just pick the middle package. Again, pricing is arbitrary. We all make up pricing. And then people can just subscribe from there. So they get, there's like 2 different feeds in my Instagram account. You can see my reels, which are open and free, and you can go through those. And what I've been doing on my subscription content is like 1.5 to 2 minute longer videos that are like tutorials. So for example, I did a deeper tutorial on ManyChat. I think I did a really good one. Actually, the first one was, the growth model that I sent you guys. I did like a far more extensive version of that for an e-commerce business with all of the different tabs for all of the different pages. So if you go to the homepage, here's everything you should have on your homepage. And then there's like a second column with like, is it good, bad, or not good? And you can mark it yourself. And then it creates a priority list of tasks and the potential percentage impact on your conversion rate optimization through it. So like these are much more kind of granular, high value stuff then that I put into the subscription side.
And I've never subscribed to anybody on Instagram as of yet. Mm-hmm. However, I might be spending $4.99 later today. But so do they sit in like close friends? Where do they sit? And how do they only see that content?
To be able to see it on my screen here, but do you see the way I have 4 bars along here? It's like my posts.
Oh,
and
yes.
then there is a little like king thing, like a crown of sorts. Like that's the subscriber only. So like if I click on that, you can only see the few subscriber videos.
Oh, I love it.
And then if I click on the subscription button, I can see all the subscribers in here in a list, and I can have a dedicated like inbox for them. When they come into my messages, there's like a big purple thing next to them, so I can clearly tell, like, reply to them, they're paying you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I'm a couple of $100 off. I have my subscription model all set and ready. I can't wait to do it. All I need is the numbers. So with that in mind, that's what you lot are going to keep me accountable for this week. But any other questions for Jen, guys?
I have so many questions for Jen, but I'm not gonna, because I know that Jay, you have to jump off the call and stuff like that, so I won't get into it now. But like me and Jen are meeting next week to chat about, to have a knowledge swap. So I'm really excited about that.
A small highlight for me this week as well was working with Judie on a voiceover for a project, and it was great crack and great fun.
It was brilliant. I loved it. We did a very deep voice thing. It was brilliant. I loved it.
Wait till you hear it. You're going to love it. Yeah.
Oh, Judie, your voice would be good for that.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
It's good. It's good.
Good.
Amazing. So look, anything to be accountable for. I'm going to ask you to keep me accountable for my business small page that I set up to try and keep my business and my sort of more, I suppose, influencer style platform separate, and I let it go because I was just too busy. So I'm back today, and I need you to keep me accountable to keep that going. So that's what I would like. Guys, what would you like?
I have a client calendar for one client that has maybe 6 or 7 different pieces that have to be done the next 2 weeks. If you can keep me accountable for that, because it's not slipping off my mind at all. It's just, it's happening where I'm like, oh, I'll do it in a second. Oh, I'll do it in a second. And it's kind of just getting pushed back and back. So there's like 6 or 7 reels that need to be done. Small bits, very quick things. But once the smaller they are, the easier they are to get lost.
Yeah.
That would take 2 minutes. So just ideally, if you could after me, it'd be great.
Amazing. Judie?
Content calendar, get that done and out of the way. I think I said I was going to do that last week too. A cobbler with no shoes kind of situation. So I'm going to focus more on that. And by the way, I got delivered 4 boxes full of props from a TV show that I used to edit back in the day. So basically, I am planning to wear leprechaun gear in my 2024 content and other stuff. So it's going to be good.
Oh, we can't wait. Brilliant. And Jen, finally.
Love it. That I send a second newsletter next week, because it seems to be going relatively well, and it would be the likes of me to drop off the bandwagon on week 1, but no, got to keep up the consistency, and also just Q1 2024 plan over the line would be fantastic. So fingers crossed.
Amazing. Well, look, I know we wanted to talk about actually how we produce this, so maybe we'll do that next week because we're short of time today. Because I know lots of people have asked us what we're using to record and everything else. So let's dive into that next week, and we'll catch up then.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank you so much.